Hello and welcome to today's video where I will teach you about dynamic lists in Android Studio, more precisely about adding and removing items from a dynamically generated list. So this will be the easiest way I can think of, in keeping with the tradition of having the easy way in all our videos. So let's see exactly what we'll do today. We will have an application, a simple app that has a title. It has two buttons, add and remove, and a list of items. And this is a list view, a simple list view. Every time we push, this is a zoomed in version. Every time you push on the add button, a new number, a new randomly generated number will be added to the list. And every time you press the remove button, one of these items of the numbers will be removed from the list. So you have text view, buttons, and then you have list view, which will be populated dynamically. Okay, so let's see in Android Studio how exactly we do this. You will start by opening Android Studio. You will create a new project. It will be a phone and tablet project, empty activity. You click next, modify everything or anything that you wish, as long as you keep the Java programming language selected, and then you click finish. If you need help creating a new project, and if you need explanations regarding the package name and the minimum SDK and so on, you can check the Android Studio introduction video that I have posted somewhere in the beginning of this series of videos. If you're familiar and all aware, just create your new project, and after it loads, we'll start to create the user interface of this mobile app. Once the project has loaded completely, you can go to the activity main XML file. And this is where we will create the user interface of the application. Again, I have a dedicated video showing how to create user interfaces, but for now, I'll just explain a bit of things and I'll go very fast over this. Okay, so we have one text view. We'll use it as a title. We cancel all the constraints. We move the text view somewhere on top. Then we take two buttons, one for adding numbers to our list and one will be for removing items from the list. Then we go to the legacy list view and we drag a list view to the screen. Okay, the list view can be a bit smaller for now. And we start with a constraint layout. I will search for margins, so I'll just give it an attribute of 16 dp for margin. Okay, then we go for the text view. For the text view, okay, let's search for text attribute because this will give access to a lot of the attributes that we need. First, the text will be dynamic list. This will be the title. Alignment of this will be in the center. We'll give it a color of, I don't know, let's make it red. Then we go for text size and we increase it to 34. Actually, this is too much. I believe 24 should be enough. But we will make the style bold and italic. Okay. The last thing we need to do for this text view, we need to set the constraints because we are inside a constraint layout. So we'll set the horizontal constraints. We'll go towards the upper part of the screen for the vertical constraints. And I think that one more idea should be to make this text view fill the entire space available left to right. Okay, going to the buttons. For the buttons, we'll start by aligning them and we'll align them horizontally. Then we want vertically to be in the same line. So we go for baseline and then we align those. Vertically speaking, we can just align one button, the first one, the second will follow, and we can give it a bit of space, like 16 dp from the text view above. Now we need to change for these buttons, starting with the first one. We'll give it an ID, we'll say btn add, because this will add the numbers. The text should reflect that as well, and we'll say add for the text. Okay, then Let's search for text over here, and we'll give it a text size of 20. All right, and the style, let's make it italic as well. Looks good enough? I guess it will. All right, going to the second button. This second button will have the text RAM from remove. It will be size 20. And for the style, we'll make it italic again, like the previous button. Don't forget for the second button to change its ID as well. So this is btn remove RAM. And we have the buttons. If you want the buttons to fill the entire space available, you can select again both items. I usually select them from the left side, from the component tree. And then you can go to declared attributes, layout, width, and let's make it match constraint. Now the problem is that the buttons are touching each other, so we need to change their style. We search for style attribute, and we just make them small buttons. Okay, problem solved. We can save so far our work, and going for the dynamic list. For this one, what we have to do, okay, let's make it fill the entire space available, but before this, we set some horizontal constraints. For vertical constraints, first I will go to the bottom of one of the buttons and lower part of the screen. Now I have the constraints set. What I need to do is just to make here for the layout width, match constraint. So it's left and right as much as the space allows it. And for the height, match constraints as well. So goes as much as the space allows it. The only thing, because I don't want it to touch the buttons over here on top, I'll just give it a clearance of 16 dp. And this is my user interface. Simple, straight to the point. And this completes our work. We save, and then we go to the main activity Java file. Again, if I went a bit fast over the user interface, keep in mind I have dedicated videos going step by step, slower, explaining how you create a user interface. So going to the activity Java file, this is where we need to write the code that will actually dynamically add and remove the items from the list. So let's start with naming whatever objects we'll be using. And what's very important is the list view. So we'll have a list view, and we'll call this list view numbers. So list view numbers is this one. Let's give it an ID, actually, because we didn't give it an ID. This will be list view numbers. I give it the same ID, so it's easier for you to identify which is which. Then we'll need an array list, and this will contain string items, and this will call it dynamic list. This will be the dynamic list, and this is the place where we will add the numbers that will be taken and inserted inside the list view, but I will explain it in a moment. So we need to import the proper class for the array list. We also need an array adapter. So we say array adapter, and we're working with strings once again. And this will be just our list adapter. Every time you see this red highlighting of the text, just click on it, see what's the problem. And in this case is the fact that we need to import the proper class. Once the class is imported, as you can see here, then there's no more error. Lastly, because we need to put some numbers, we don't want to invent the numbers, by ourselves. We just need a random approach to this. So we'll say random number, and this is when you import, it's asking you which class to use, and we'll use the Java utility class, not the Kotlin, so the Java one. And this is these are the main components that we'll be using. Actually, just to keep everything nice and tidy, let's name the buttons as well. We have these two buttons, and we have the btn add and the btn remove. And I will import this class as well. Going to the user interface, this is the button, the btn add and remove. Again, I gave them the same ID because I wanted to make it clear which is which, but I haven't associated them yet. And this is what we'll do inside the onCreate method. So we're going here inside the onCreate, and let's start with the ListView. It's the first one in line, and we'll say ListView numbers over here. And this will be equal to find, because we need to find it by ID, from the resource ID. And from the list, we just take ListView numbers, this one. Then we need to write a dynamic list. So this is our dynamic list. And this is equal to a new array list. And we say string inside. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention. I've put the string in the wrong place. Okay, here we go. Now for the array adapter, we called it list adapter. So our list adapter is a new array adapter. And this is again a string over here. And this is a bit more complicated. So I have a video explaining how to create a list from scratch and exactly how this adapter works. But again, I'll make it very simple here. We have several parameters to pass inside the adapter. So first will be the context. Then we need a layout type. So we say Android resource layout. The suggestion is good. And then we select simple list item. And these are several types of list items. So the way the list can look, and whatever we can select, whatever is appropriate for our type of list. And then we give it the source of the information, and this will be our dynamic list. Dynamic list. So just to recap, this list adapter is a new adapter, a new array adapter, and takes in the context, the current context. Then it has this part which shows or refers to the way the list will look, how each item of the list is drawn, what it contains, how it's red or blue or big or small in the center, in the left, just the user interface, the design of it, if you want. And this is predefined type of list. You can also define your own type to make the list look as you wish, to customize it. Again, I have a previous video explaining this. If you need help, if you need to learn that, just check the comment section. You'll find the links, the necessary links to go to those videos. But for now, we just keep it simple. We use a stock layout for the list, and then you have the source of the information. So this is where the information will be taken from. This is the way it will be displayed. And this is the context that we're working in. And the last thing to do, we need to associate this adapter with our list view. So we say list view numbers, and we'll set the adapter, the one that we have just created. Now, so far, we have taken care of the list, but the list is empty. We have nothing to populate the list with because our dynamic list, the array that holds the information displayed inside the list view, is empty. So we need to add some information to that array of items. So we say the number will be equal to new random. Then let's implement the code that will actually add something. So for this, we have the button add. We say btn add, and we'll find it first. We'll find the view by ID. btn add, because we need to know which is the object in the user interface that we press and which is the variable associated with that object in the user interface. So we've done this association. Now let's see what code is executed, what happens. So we say btn add dot, and we set an on-click listener. And this will be a new, it should be lowercase. This will be a new view on-click listener. The rest of the code is generated automatically. And inside this method, what we'll do, we'll just say that our list adapter, okay, we use the add method and we have this string object. And what we'll actually add, it will be a string. We take the value of, and we have to put the random generated number. So this will be the number. We say the next integer. Inside here, we have to give the interval. So if we say 99, then our number, our generated number will be between 0 and 99. But we want to have all the numbers 2-digit, so 2-digit number. The way to fix it, we just say to generate the numbers up until 89, and then we will add a 10 to this. In this way, if the generated number is a 0 plus 10, it will be a 10. If it's 1 plus 10, it will be 11, so it's again 2 digits. And if it is an 89 plus 10, it will be 99, again 2 digits. So this is the way to make sure you don't have a number 1 and the number 99. So everything will be 2 digits. Actually, I'm thinking let's make it 4 digits. And then we just do like so. Okay, so this takes care of the part where we generate the number and we add the number. But we also need to notify that we have a change in our list. So we have a list adapter, and we say notify data change. So this will add the numbers to our list. The problem is that we now need to remove some numbers. And for this, we'll just repeat, only this time we will remove the numbers. So we can just say, I'll just copy the line above and we'll say button remove will be find view by ID, button remove. Then we need to implement an on-click listener. And for this, we just repeat the steps above. We say btn remove set, and we click on the on-click listener. This will be a new, and again, if you remember, this is a view on-click listener. Double click on that. We have the method being generated automatically, and we need from the list to remove some item. So our list view, this dynamic, the dynamic list we have. So from our dynamic list, we will just say remove, and we'll give it 0. Basically, this means that from our dynamic list, the array, this one above, the array list that contains the information that populates our list view. So from the source of the information, from the source containing the numbers, we will remove the number at index 0. So we always remove the first number. This way, we don't have to worry about which is the last item, or trying to remove an item that doesn't exist. So this we can, in this way, we remove the first item, and when we add at the end of the list. Of course, you can modify the code as you desire, as you need. If you need to remove a specific item, you can just indicate its index, but to keep things simple, the simplest possible approach will be to remove the first one. Also, you have to notify there's a data change, and for this we use our adapter. We say list adapter, and again we notify data set changed. We save everything, we select our virtual device, and then we run it to see how it looks. The app has been loaded in the emulator, so I'll just make it a bit larger. Actually, this is too large. So we have the title, we have the 2 buttons. This is where the list view is loaded. You don't see it now. If you add a button, a number, then you have something generated, one more, and you can add as many numbers as you want, and you can remove them, starting, as I said, with the first. So you can add numbers. Okay, you can scroll down, you can see what we've added, and then you can remove them. This way you have created a dynamic list. You can add as many items as you want. You can remove them. If you check the other videos in this series, you will see how to add images inside this list view. So each item will have an image, will have some other buttons, some other things associated with it. You can customize its appearance. You can perform actions when you click. Right now, as you see, you can click, but nothing really happens. So I have a video explaining how to add actions, but this is dedicated only for adding and removing items in a dynamic way from the list. I hope this is helpful for you. I hope you learned something new today. If you have questions, comments, suggestions, anything, please share in the comment section. Until we meet in the next video, where I will show you how to work with recycler views. Keep practicing, keep learning, ask questions, and take care. See you next time.